We're back. Happy 4th. A sigh of relief for Padres fans. A series win over the Rangers. A nice win on Sunday night.
Change your microphone.
Is it screwed up? I'm telling you, man, there's something going on here. Why is this not working? It won't let me, dude. It will not let me change it to Shore. I'm telling you, something's going on with StreamYard.
Just go to your audio.
No shit.
Great start.
Good start.
Stupid fucking StreamYard.
It's definitely StreamYard. My mic is on, dude.
Yeah, we started. So we literally load StreamYard and all of our settings are all effed up. Like all the settings are effed up. Took me like 10 minutes to like get this stupid camera to work.
Is your mic working?
Yeah.
I won't. I'm clicking mic. I click share. It won't let it. It goes back to AirPods.
Bruh. We're not gonna do the whole show with you on the AirPods.
Better than no show.
Why don't you just like restart your computer real quick?
I don't think it's my computer.
Like, I don't know.
Let me close out of StreamYard. I'll come back.
All right. Well, this shit's off the rails real freaking quickly. Jeez. Glad the Padres won tonight. Deal with this train wreck of a show already. Yeah. We are going to talk about the game, bro. But here's the thing. When we are dealing with technical difficulties, we have to figure that out first before we start the freaking show. Calm down. Everything's going to be okay. Jeez. And then you have to put yourself in StreamYard, John.
What's that? What did you say?
Your mic's just start the show. Your mic is fucked up. Just start the show. People, just whatever.
I can't. It's not my fault, dude. I can't do anything about it. It won't switch. I've done many a show on AirPod, dude.
No, I know. I'm just saying it throws it. Never mind. Just start the show. Who cares?
I mean, if I could do something about it, I promise you I would. Okay. After all that, all right. Here's the deal. Subscribe here on Content for Padres fans. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on X at John Schaefer at Jim Russell SD. We appreciate the super chats. Maybe it'll help us pay for a better software than StreamYard because this thing is not working right now. So click the $sign below the chat box. And if you want to become a subscriber, you can click the join button down below. It was a good series. Despite yesterday, the game that Jim attended, it was a good series. They took 2 of 3. They won today. Kyle Hart was the story. So was the bullpen. I thought Jake Cronenworth's defensive play in the first inning might have been the game. That was massive to get David Morgan out of that spot. And then enough timely hitting. A couple of hits with men in scoring position, including from Fernando Tatis Jr., who's an all-star. There's so much to get to, by the way. Yu Darvish pitching tomorrow, all-stars, trade deadline, what A.J. Preller said today. But the Padres win the series, which is what they set out to do. So it's a good start to the homestand.
Yeah, I think that when you look at what they needed to do on this homestand, is no worse than 6-4. That's kind of how I looked at it. You know, they had an opportunity to go 3-3 on the road trip, didn't get it done. Now you come home, 10-game homestand, go 6-4 minimum, and you go into the break 8 games over 500, and you're feeling pretty good about yourself. And while they aren't, you know, offensively, it's still a challenge. They're getting it done, and they got it done this series. And you know, it wasn't the easiest series, but tonight was a complete bullpen masterclass. I thought that Fernando Tatis Jr. looked like he had a little pep in his step, maybe because he was voted or, you know, announced he was an all-star this year. He had a really good night. Like you said, Jake Cronenworth defensively was really, really good. And, you know, besides the first inning where it could have been worse, could have been way worse, and it wasn't. They only gave up 1 run there, and Morgan ended up, you know, giving them the length that I think Mike Schilt was looking for. Pass it over the bullpen, and the bullpen takes care of business. And it was just a really good win tonight. Good series win. And now you move on here to Arizona, and hopefully you can, you know, continue to play some good baseball.
I mean, Kyle Hart was obviously the story, I think, of this game, considering we hadn't seen him for forever. And he ends up going 3 and 2/3 hitless innings. I mean, who had that on their bingo card after David Morgan went in the inning of the third? So 3 and 2/3 innings from Kyle Hart, I think, was the story. And then again, Adam pitched the seventh inning, Morahone pitched the eighth inning. And this, I think you called him the Four Horsemen a couple of
I
months
did.
ago. Out of us, and that's other pitcher right now. I mean, Estrada, Adam, Morahone, Suarez. Suarez 2 strikeouts, by the way. The entire staff 9 strikeouts. That was impressive when you had David Morgan and Kyle Hart and whatever else. I mean, that's really the story. Obviously, was the pitching. Fell behind. I think they trailed in all 3 games of the series, but they won 2 of them. Trailed
Mhm.
2-0 back on Friday. Came back to win on that Jake Cronenworth hit. Trailed 1-0. That's nothing here today, but came back to win 4-1. Martin Maldonado, a couple of base hits. Xander Bogaerts, a couple of base hits, was on base, I think, 3 times in this game overall. You mentioned Tatis. I mean, again, I didn't think Tatis would be an all-star. I really didn't. And we can get into that. I think overall the body of work probably supports it. You know, his numbers are solid overall. It's just what we've watched over the last 2 months has not been solid. But he gets the benefit of the doubt. Jason Adams is going to be an all-star. But it was nice to see Tatis come through, not just like a single, but a double down the left field line that scored a run. I think it was the go-ahead run, actually, to make it 2-1.
Yeah, I thought this was one of his better games in a while. Just overall, I thought that he played a really good game tonight. And again, he his numbers over the last couple months, they're not particularly good. But the main thing is he's out there at least. He's out there every day. And that's all you could ask right now is, hey, can you stay healthy? Can you be out there? Can you help contribute to help winning games? And hopefully, you get back to looking like the Fernando Tatis Jr. that we saw at the beginning of the season. Because that's still the Tatis that they need. The Tatis they have right now, he's okay, but they need the Tatis that they had at the beginning of the year. And we'll get into the All-Star thing as well, but I think that Fernando Tatis Jr. and even Mike Schill kind of alluded to this the other night. Even when he's struggling, he has to find ways to have his spirit stay up. And I think tonight, maybe the boost of him becoming an all-star, but that helped him. But, I think he stole a base. He had a couple big hits. He always has played really good defense all year long. So overall, just a really good night for Tatis.
Yeah, I mean, again, you look at his total body of work, and again, he's pacing for a 30-30 year. It doesn't necessarily feel like that because I feel like a lot of it was predicated off 14-3. But listen, I can't do anything about the mic. I mean, I can end the stream if you want, but otherwise, I can't do anything about the mic. So you tell me if that's what you want me to do, I'll do it. Or Jim can do it solo, which is doing later in the week, if that's easier.
Just continue. It's fine.
Whatever you think is best, because it's being made to be a much bigger deal than it actually is. Since I've done 100 streams on these AirPods. Reality check. Thank you for the first super. The night says our bases loaded offense is crazy bad this year. Yeah, but they hit with men in scoring position tonight. They were 4 for 8 with runners in scoring position. So I don't think that was really a huge story in general. Bogarts early in this game, reality check saying we used to be Slam Diego. That shit's over. I mean, that's fair, no doubt. Tonight's probably not the night I'm going to complain about them hitting with men in scoring position because they're actually good. They had 2 out hits in this game, multiple 2 out hits to score a run in this game. So, yeah, I mean, they have not been good with it. I have no idea what their bases loaded numbers are as a team. They haven't been good, but I'll tell you who has been good. Luis Arraez, Xander Bogaerts. Manny's been hot, was 0 for on his 33rd birthday, 2 hits shy of 2,000 coming in. Merrill's cooled off, obviously. But, yeah, I'm with you. I don't think the offense is fully turned over, but 4 runs yesterday, 4 runs today, comeback win on Friday. It's kind of, I don't know, hard to expect more right now from this offense.
The one thing that this offense has not been able to do is have that huge hit that keeps the line moving, that, scores more than 1 run in an inning type of thing. And they scored a run in the 3rd tonight. They scored a run in the 4th, a run in the 6th, and a run in the 7th. They had opportunities with the bases loaded tonight to really, have a crooked inning. They haven't had many crooked innings. The other night, bases loaded multiple times. They were not able to get a hit with the bases loaded. They've been missing those crooked innings that they consistently got last year. But hopefully those will come, and as long as they're winning games right now, you kind of live with it. But eventually you feel like you're going to need to get those big hits more consistently with runners and, scoring position and keep the line moving, especially with the bases loaded. And, more crooked innings is what this team is looking for right now, because it's still, hard for them at times to just get even a run across the board sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, their offense needs fast improvement. I mean, AJ Preller spoke to MLB Network Radio and said, we're going to go out and get bats." He actually said that. So I think they're going to do what they can. We'll see what ultimately that means. You can go out and get a bat or two. It doesn't mean your offense is going to be better, but I'd be surprised if you didn't try to lengthen out this lineup a little bit. Because yeah, I mean, there's no there's no there's no question. I mean, this isn't the 2024 offense. There's no question about it. Yet their bullpen, again, they're still winning. I mean, you look at their overall record. I mean, it's hard. They're 48 and 41. They were 50 and 50 last year. I mean, they're 48 and 41. They'd be in the postseason if the season ended today. That wasn't the case a year ago on the same date. So I think if they do get a couple of bats, like Preller talked about today, I'm not saying they're going to win 93 games, but I am saying they'll put themselves in a position to hopefully get to the postseason. Every so often, thank you, man. He says Schilt was uncharacteristic. I heard him say this. I was shocked by this. He was uncharacteristically very open about Tatis. Jim just alluded to this. He made it clear Tatis carries too much on his shoulders and doesn't let the game come to him. Yeah, he said like he wishes that he wouldn't wear it on his sleeve as much as he does. And then he kind of backtracked. He's like, I wish that for all the guys. But he said it about Tatis, and I don't know if he meant to be as honest as he was. I think the question was from Kyle Glazer, said he's hit 211 in the last 7 weeks coming into to last night. And he basically asked, why is that? And Schilt did admit that he wears it, and he gets down on himself. So I think that's been evident if you've been watching these games, and hopefully that's something that doesn't continue much longer, and maybe he's getting out of that. But yeah, he was very open about it on Saturday night.
He's a very emotional player, and we've talked about this before. Like he just lets his emotions get to him. And I think you've seen that a lot this year, where for whatever reason, emotionally, it's affected his on the field play. Whatever he's dealing with, it has affected his on the field play. And as a professional athlete, I understand these guys are humans, they have lives outside of baseball and all that. But at the same time, you're paid very handsomely to go out and produce. And Tatis is paid like a face of a franchise. Whether it's fair or not, he has to go out and perform. That's just how it is. It's not the most fair thing in the world that you're saying, hey, regardless, whatever's going on in your personal life, if you're healthy and you're out there playing, like you need to, problem with a girlfriend or wife, like, we're paying you a bunch of money here to go and perform. And again, it's not fair, right? But at the same time, that's what he's paid to do. And I just think that there's a lot potentially going on with Tatis in his head that's affected him this year for whatever reason. I don't want to say that, oh yeah, he's dealing with some fake injury. Like if he was dealing with an injury, we would have known by now, I think, and he would not be out there. Him getting hit in the forearm in Pittsburgh and then getting hit in the hand in LA. By the way, he hit a home run the very next night or 2 nights after that. So I don't think the hand's bothering him that much from getting hit in LA. I just think that it's a combination of things, and wear and tear happens in a baseball season. So everyone has nicks and bruises, but I think more so than anything else with him, if he's out there playing, it feels like it's mental with him when he struggles this year.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it is crazy. He's hit 2 home runs since June 1st. I mean, that's kind of hard to imagine we'd get to that point, but he has hit here recently. Like even since June 1st, he's hit 237 with a 712 OPS. It's not like embarrassing. It's just surprising that he would lack so much power for this long a period of time. We've beaten around it for so long. I wish we could find out the true reason. I think it's a number of reasons, truthfully, to be honest. Every so often, thank you, man, for the super. Says, where's the we apply pressure, don't feel it? Yeah, again, I mean, I don't know what to say about this offense. I mean, we've said it in so many different ways. I mean, this offense is a bottom third offense, would be my guess if we looked at it today. I think they were like 23rd or 24th 3 or 4 days ago. They haven't gotten much better, maybe slightly better. I mean, it's probably the 21st, 22nd best offense in the sport. It's amazing they're 48 and 41 with that. And that's a big part of a lot of the credit goes to the bullpen, pitching staff in general, that they're 48 and 41 with the 22nd best offense or whatever it is in the sport. And yeah, Merrill, if that's about Merrill specifically, another guy's been dealing with injuries. How much of it is that? How much of it is something else? Is it sophomore season? 0 for 5, 2Ks tonight. He said 276 on the year, but I don't know what to say about Merrill. He hasn't homered since when? I mean, he hasn't homered in forever, 2 months.
His last home run, he's at 1 home run his last 30 games. His last 30 games, he's slashing.
Before?
Huh?
Was that before he came back from injury? Or?
Let's look at his last home run. His last home run, oh man, May 27th.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It was.
His last home run was May 27th. Oh my goodness. Yeah, talk about a guy who's struggling.
Isn't that crazy?
As much as we've talked about Fernando Tatis Jr. this year struggling, Jackson Merrill has been worse since. I mean, you could argue since May 27th, Jackson Merrill has been awful. Like
I'm gonna do the numbers. Yeah, he said 231.
Yeah, he's not been good. I don't have to look at numbers to know that Jackson Merrill has not been good for a while now. Now, I put out the tweet a couple of days ago. I'm like, it's too early to say sophomore slump, and it is too early to say sophomore slump. Look at his second half last year; it was freaking incredible. But it's still fair to say he's going through it right now, and he is struggling right now for sure. I don't think that's out of the question. We got too many sensitive people out there. If you mention a bad word about their favorite baseball player, sorry, it's the way it is. And Jackson Merrill right now is god awful. Fernando Tatis Jr. had a great night, but he has been, for the most part, really, really bad since May 1st. Those are two guys hitting 1 and 2 in your lineup, and they have to be much better.
Yeah, they've combined since May 27th. If you include the 27th, Tatis homered that night. They've combined to hit, I think, 3 home runs since May 27th. I mean, 3 home runs they've combined to hit since May 27th. Yeah, exactly. Since he was anointed as the best center fielder in the sport. And he's been hurt. Listen, second year in the big leagues is tough. The injuries he's dealt with, he's missed 30-something games. The year's not over. So he's got to be better. Tatis has to be better. The fact that they're winning with these numbers is utterly insane to me. Like, what if these guys actually produce? What if Yu Darvish comes back and looks like Yu Darvish? What if Michael King returns and looks like Michael King? I mean, maybe there is a path to 90-something wins because of that. Maybe Preller makes significant upgrades. I mean, the truth is they're pacing. We had Dan Zamborski the other day. It's like they're pacing for 89 wins. They were supposed to win 88 games, 87 games. It's like there's nothing wrong with this team. This is what everyone expected them to be. There's just been ebbs and flows in the year. And thank you, man, for the super chat, guys. Over here, subscribe. You're on content for Padres fans, and thank you for the supers. Click the $ below the chat box. He says, end in-game interviews forever. Did you watch the Tatis in-game interview tonight?
I on purpose turned the channel because I knew before even listening to one thing that was asked to Fernando Tatis Jr., I knew it was going to be a train wreck. And it was, right?
It's just Tatis. He's just not good. He's just not good in those settings. It's just awkward. And then this post-game interview on SportsCenter was even more awkward. It's not Tatis's fault, although he doesn't make it easier. It's the combination of the questions he's being asked. Like post-game, he's asked, like, hey, what do you think about catching the Dodgers in the NL West? Like, dude, chill. Like, really? You think that's on his mind? Like, after beating the Rangers 2 out of 3, it was just a very weird. Oh, hey, what are you guys doing to celebrate Manny's 33rd birthday? What's the party plans? Like, Maybe don't ask Fernando Tatis Jr. that tonight. So it's just cringe, is what I would say.
Yeah, I think in-game interviews are just objectively just always awful. I there's not one in-game interview that I've ever listened to where I'm like, "Yo, that was really good." I mean, Jack. Here's the thing with Fernando Tatis Jr. Like you said, he's not a good interview in the first place. He is a very short answer interview guy. He's never going to give anything that is like, "Whoa, that was funny and awesome." It's just very short with Tatis. All his answers are short. Um, now, maybe if you did like, I mean, Manny Machado, maybe, but I don't know. All in-game interviews are just, to me, unnecessary.
Yeah, this whole thing, the 6:10 start, 9:10 Eastern to ultimately then play 3 innings on ESPN2. It
Oh,
was
it's a
just a
joke.
weird kind of situation in general.
Yeah.
We're going to get back to the super chats in a moment. We do want to thank our title sponsor here on the wrap up show, Mark Nimitz, who we've been talking with all weekend long. If you've got an insurance need, get in contact with our buddy Mark, whatever it is, auto, home, renters, life, earthquake, whatever it is, get in contact with Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. I've got 3 insurance policies through Mark, homeowners and earthquake and life, and you can as well. Click the description down below and you'll get the link to Mark's website. So click that link in the description and get free quotes online. Call Mark. He'll give you free quotes as well. If you ever need him, trust me, he'll be there for you. I had to file a claim a couple of years ago. He took care of everything for me and my family. So if you have any insurance need, and if you support this channel, please get in contact with our title sponsor, the Wrap Up Show, for 4 years. Click that link in the description down below and get in contact with Mark.
Yeah, all his information is on that ticker below, mnimitz at farmersagent.com. When you reach out to Mark, let him know that John and Jim from the Wrap Up Show sent you.
All right, let's get back to some of the super chats. Guys, if you're here, subscribe here on content for Padres fans and smash the like button. And thank you for the supers like this one from Jeffrey. Just click the dollar sign below the chat box. He says, fun question. Hypothetically, if you could add anyone, excluding Ohtani and Judge, who would you add to this team? P.S. Any new cards to the collection? I think actually both of us probably have the answer as being yes. We were at a card show on Saturday. It's not about adding anyone. It's like, who would you add if you could add someone that's attainable, right? Because there's a million players that aren't never going to be traded. Like, who is a perfect fit for the Padres right now? Would be probably a right-handed hitting outfielder. I think you'd start there. I would say depth maybe in the rotation. But I would start probably with a right-handed hitting outfielder that we've talked about basically for weeks on end is what I would add.
There's a couple names. If we're doing this fun I like this. Fun hypothetical. Add anybody in baseball to this team other than Ohtani and Judge. I got 2 names. Cal Raleigh or Paul Skeens. I like Acuna.
Yeah, those are great names.
Acuna.
Those are great names.
Skeens, Cal Raleigh. I think if you had one of those players to this team, James Wood, again, as a lefty, he's not a right-handed batter, but yeah, I mean, there's plenty of players that you could add to this team where you're like, whoa, okay, that'd be good.
I love the Cal Raleigh because their catchers have been so anemic.
I mean, Cal Raleigh's year is insane, dude.
Insane. He's going to hit the most home runs ever hit by a catcher in a season.
And it's not like he's not a power guy. His last 3 years, he's hit 30 home runs the last 3 seasons.
Yeah. What's he going to hit this year? What's he on pace for now? 55, 60?
He's on pace for around high 50s.
That's crazy. That's amazing.
He's got 35 home runs and 74 RBIs, and there's still a week left in the first half.
By the way, I see Tatis is shooting down the possibility of participating in the home run derby. This from Annie Halbern. I wish, but I've been getting cramps around my obliques. So I'm not going to take the chance. I feel like it's more important for me to stay healthy. And now it's going to be really 3 more months of baseball where we can turn things around and make this thing special. Okay?
Okay.
So he's been cramping around his obliques. I kind of thought heading into this whole All-Star announcement, I just assumed Tatis wouldn't be on the team, and I kind of like the idea of him having 4 or 5 days off. Just mind, body, soul stuff. Just get away from it for a couple of days. That won't necessarily be the case, as he'll play in the All-Star game, presumably, in Atlanta on that Tuesday night. It's only one day, but yeah, the home run derby thing. I love the idea of it a few years ago with Tatis. I thought it'd be so cool when he was like one of the true stars in the game. And some of that, I don't know, some of that shine has just worn off. I wonder if we'll ever see Fernando Tatis Jr. in a home run derby. I'm at the point where I don't even probably care anymore because it's so much more about his health and his well-being and his numbers for the Padres. But he shot that down as a possibility apparently tonight.
I think the time for him to do the home run derby was like 2021 at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
But the thing was, he was going through a sublux shoulder that year, and it was like he was basically barred from doing the home run derby. Like the organization was like, you're not allowed to do that because he was playing a year with like 1.5 shoulders, or one of his shoulder was subluxed like every other month. So that was like the time to do it. And then after that, the surgeries that he's had, like I don't think we'll ever see Fernando Tatis Jr. in home run derby. I just don't. I also think that there might be like some initiative from the organization of like, I don't know if we want you doing that.
Yeah, it sounds like an easy thing to say. Like, I've been getting cramping my obliques. Okay, maybe yes. I mean, it's a long year. He deals with everything.
Yeah.
And again, it's not worth it. If his health is in jeopardy, then it's not worth it. And every so often, I didn't even see this super because I was just reading that tweet from Manny. But thank you for letting us know, saying that he's not going to participate in the home run derby. And then X marks the spot says, you think Tatis will compete in the derby versus Acuna? Not in 2025. I'd like to see a Padre in the derby just in general. I don't know. Who's the last Padre in a home run derby?
Will Myers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that didn't go well.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean,
they don't
is
have
what it is. Someone brought up Manny the other day. No, it's unnecessary. It would be cute and nice to have one of your players in, but whatever. At the end of the day, do you really care?
No. Unless Manny like had like 30 home runs at the break and he's like, yeah, I'll do it, but he'll never have that. He'll always have between 15 to 20 home runs during the break, and then he'll end up, hitting around 30 home runs every single season for this team. But
yeah, 100%. What do you think of the three? I thought they'd get. I don't know. I didn't know if I thought they'd get more than one All-Star, truthfully, after Machado. With Jason Adam, I mean, his numbers are really good. Sub-2 ERA, and then Tatis, we've talked about it a little bit here. I think the numbers speak for themselves. If you've been watching, you might not feel like he gets the benefit, but if you haven't been watching, okay. He'll be managed, by the way, by Dave Roberts. Of course, that whole situation played out recently at Dodger Stadium, but I was thinking maybe they would get a second, but they end up getting 3, and it's probably tough to complain about that. Even though Mike Schilt asked for all 4 of his high leverage relievers to make the All-Star team.
I'll be honest, unpopular opinion, I don't think Tatis deserves to make the All-Star team this year. I don't. Now, seeing the Dodger fans lose their mind over it instead of Andy Pajes making the team, then I'm all in favor for Fernando Tatis Jr. making the team. If it's going to make every Dodger fan butthurt until, the rest of time. So for that, I am glad that Fernando Tatis Jr. made the team, because it's funny to watch all Dodger fans just like lose their mind over it. I think if Tatis was not named an All-Star this year, I don't think many Padres fans will lose their mind over it, right? Like, if Tatis didn't make the All-Star team this year, would anybody be saying he got snubbed? No, I don't think so.
Tatis didn't think he was going to make the team.
So I don't think, if Tatis never initially made it in the first place, I don't think many Padres fans would have some crazy outcry like, this is an outrage that Fernando didn't make the team. I think everyone was pretty surprised by him making the team. We watch Tatis on a daily basis, and he has not played up to an All-Star level this year. I'm sorry. He just hasn't. Defensively, he's probably the best defensive right fielder in the game, but I mean, come on. His offensive numbers are not All-Star game worthy, especially over a guy like Juan Soto. And the fact that Juan Soto didn't make the team is kind of crazy to me, but it is what it is. And again, I'm glad he made the team, because Hopefully that helps with his confidence, and hopefully that, drives him to have a much better second half. But, you know, objectively, I know it's probably not a popular opinion, but I don't think he deserved it.
I share the same opinion. So does Fernando Tatis, who said he had booked a hotel yesterday for a mini vacation before finding out today he's an all-star. That's from Marty Caswell. So he felt the same way. I mean, who has a better feel than the player themselves? It's like, who knows anyone more than themselves? And when you're doing your job, and when you're not. He had hit 211 the last 7 weeks coming into today. So he has been
Yeah.
struggling and scuffling. Now, a lot of outfielders are on the team. I'm surprised he's in over Soto. Um, I share your opinion. It's surprising to me. I mean, and like you said, the best point is that nobody would have said anything if he wasn't on the team.
No, there'd be no outcry. There'd be no, this is a ridiculous thing that just happened. I'm telling you guys, like, there would be nothing coming from this town saying that Tatis should have made it. Maybe like maybe Tatis, should have made it, but he didn't make it, so it's understandable. Like, everyone would have understood if he didn't make the team. Now, glad he made it. That's a awesome accomplishment. Again, I didn't think he would, and if it's, pissing off Dodger fans, then awesome. But it's kind of wild if you take a step back and you take off your, like, literal Padres hat, that Tatis made the All-Star team over Juan Soto and Andy Pages, who are having, to me, way better seasons than Fernando Tatis Jr. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's always weird. I know nothing about the process. I don't read the articles. Is it player related? Is it manager related? I don't even know how they vote on the reserves. I have no idea how that is determined. I know every team needs an all-star. So some of that is an assurance, but with the Padres, they already had an all-star. So, like, how does Tatis make the team over Juan Soto, for example? How's that occur?
What do you think of Jason Adam making the All-Star team this year?
I think it's deserved. I mean, I think, again, in just the eye test, I probably would have put Morahone before Adam, but Adam has spent more of the year as the eighth inning guy. So maybe in like a higher profile role, he gets more of the credit. He's had a good year. I mean, kind of undoubtedly. He's tailed off a little bit, I think. If you look at the numbers more recently, but I mean, sub 2 ERA is good. Morahone's been terrific, I think. So I think Adam's more deserving than Tatis, and I think maybe Morahone is more deserving than Jason Adam.
I would agree with that. What I think is cool, though, is that middle relievers are getting recognized. I think there were 2 or 3 in the National League that weren't traditional closers that made the All-Star team. I think the same in the American League. I think that's cool. I think, if they had a designated, like, non-save reliever spot in the All-Star game for like 2 or 3 guys in each league to make the All-Star team who aren't traditional closers, because Jason Adam in years past probably doesn't make it, because usually what they do is they just get all the closers and they put all the closers in, right? Like, in years past, I'm sure Robert Suarez, just because he's second in the league in saves, he would have made it. But now you have multiple just middle relievers making it for having great seasons. And I think that's pretty cool and good for Jason Adam, first time All-Star. You don't see many relievers that aren't closers get, All-Star nods. So from that standpoint, it's deserved. If you had to flip, Morehone or Adam, I think flip a coin, honestly. I know Adrian Morehone might have better analytical numbers and advanced stats than Jason Adam, and he might have had a better season so far, but both of them are deserved, and I think it's pretty cool that he's an all-star this year.
What about the commissioner's choice of a player? What do you think about Clayton Kershaw making his 19th All-Star game as the commissioner's selection?
I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. Like, do I want to see Clayton Kershaw in the All-Star game? No. Do I care? Not really. That's not going to bother me either way. I think it's a nod to, future Hall of Famers. Like, we all don't like Clayton Kershaw because he's in the Dodgers uniform, but he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. You can't deny it. A couple years ago,
100%.
they had Pujols and Miguel Cabrera. right? Those guys were not having good seasons, but hey, they deserve to have at least one more, final All-Star game appearance just because their careers are Hall of Fame careers. Um, maybe in the future he does the same thing for Manny Machado. Towards the end of his career, he's going to be a Hall of Famer if his numbers hold up, and maybe he gets in as the commissioner's pick one day. So if you're going to bash it now, why is Clayton Kershaw getting? Oh, I can't believe Clayton Kershaw made it. This is ridiculous. Well, guess what? One day, Manny Machado might make it the same way that Clayton Kershaw made it this year in a Padres uniform. His final farewell All-Star game. So for the people that are bashing it now and getting all butthurt about Clayton Kershaw, one day the same thing might happen for Manny Machado.
I was surprised also with Kershaw that only brings the Dodgers again to 5 selections for whatever that's worth. I'm talking about Pajes, and we talked a couple days ago about them having 5, 6, 7 starters. They end up with 5 on the team. All right, we're going to get back to this conversation. Do want to remind you about our friends over at SeatGeek. Maybe you're looking to get out to Petco Park tomorrow night, Padres and Diamondbacks at Petco, and you can use the promo code PADSWRAP, PADSWRAP. You're going to get $20 off your first order of $50 or more. At SeatGeek, that's $20 off your first purchase with promo code PADSWRAP. Just click the link in the description, download the app, have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. We do want to thank our friends over at SeatGeek. Look at this, July 7th, and you can get in for $20. So after the long holiday weekend, you can get in to see Padres Diamondbacks for $20. Now remember, to use the promo code, it's got to be $50 for your order to get $20 off. But look at this. I mean, Section 304, $25. That's with fees. That means with the promo code of PADSWRAP, you're getting in for $30, 2 tickets to Petco Park tomorrow night. So get there, take advantage of an awesome offer. Padres home all week into the All-Star break. Get there this week against the Diamondbacks, this weekend against the Phillies, and use that promo code PADSWRAP.
And it's MLB's official ticket marketplace. Your tickets are fully guaranteed and instantly fulfilled in your account after purchase. I saw the SeatGeek logos all over the park last night at Petco. And when you're using SeatGeek, make sure when you purchase your ticket, you use our promo code PADSWRAP, PADSWRAP. I know our Mark Nimitz was reaching out to us, telling us that he used our promo code for some tickets. So use it. You get $20 off your first order at SeatGeek at $50 or more.
All right, so AJ Preller today was on MLB Network Radio and spoke for about a minute or so about their deadline needs. And he basically said, Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, that they want to add bats and lengthen out their lineup, is what he said on MLB Network Radio earlier today. Talked about getting both King and Darvish back. Talked about the strength of their pitching. But, I mean, that's what it sounded like his mind was going after, or that's what they were hoping to do in the weeks ahead between now and the trade deadline, July 31st.
Well, let's pull it up here. Hold on. What the hell is this? Oh. All right, let's do that. The F, stupid fucking thing. Here we go.
But again, I think the biggest thing is, from my standpoint in this chair, we're prepared because we've got great scouts, analysts, staff, coaching staff that, they all participate in the process. We feel like we have a pretty good pulse on the league and who's out there. It doesn't always mean you're going to make great decisions, but I think we're in position, with talented players in our organization, both at the major league and minor league level, to at least be in these conversations. And then you got to, as a GM, evaluate like how realistic it is that your team can win and contend, and then try to weigh that out versus future, and wanting to make sure that's a sustained run. So, we've had the chance here, over the last 5 years to be in 3 playoff runs, and we've had 5 in a row where we've been in the mix till the end. And at the end of the day, we'll look at our team here this year. Getting Darvish, King back would be huge. The bullpen's been strong. We've got a lot of different weapons in the pen. We've had some you could add to a strength. And on the offense side, it's probably rounding out the depth of the lineup. I think, like you mentioned, the top of the lineup should be strong. And you look up and you've got a Jake Cronenworth hitting 7th and 8th some nights, but you've got to be deep, 1 through 9. And I think probably adding a bat or two is something that we're going to look at here in the next few weeks to try to help our team get to October.
A bat or two. I think listening to him there, you heard that, right?
Yeah.
I think it's 100% with 100% certainty he will buy at the deadline. I don't think there's any, unless they just lose 10 in a row, I don't think there's any way he is in his mind right now thinking of selling. I think it's buy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see what world you would be selling in when you're in a playoff spot. So it would take some collapse that hasn't occurred and nobody's really forecasting. Even in the depths of their poor play this year, they haven't had that drop 10 of 11. They've remained 6 or more games over 500. So, yeah, I don't think there's any reason to expect them to all of a sudden have the wheels fall off between now and July 31st. It's not that many games. They have 4 days off in July for the All-Star break. I mean, they have 7 games here and then 10 on the other side, essentially 17 games. I mean, shoot, you go 7 and 10 in your next 17 games, you're not selling.
No.
So they're buying, and they probably should be. They need to improve this roster overall. I think they've got a chance with their bullpen. If Darvish and King are healthy, and if Tatis, Merrill, Machado, Arise look like those players, and shoot, they've gotten more to Bogarts here recently. Sheets has put together a very good year. Cronenworth has been solid. You add a bat or two, maybe that unlocks the offense to some extent. You're not going to have a top 10 offense, but can you have a top 15 offense by making some additions and getting better play out of the players that you have in this lineup? The answer is probably yes. You could have a top 15 offense.
My guess is he goes out and he makes 3 moves. Or he makes 2 moves and one of the moves brings back 2 major league players. I think he goes out, he gets a right-handed bat. I think he gets a catcher, and I think he gets pitching. Like I think those are all in play. And if you were to ask me, would you bet on it? I would bet yes that he does all 3 of those things. I don't know how he's going to get it done. I don't know what prospects he's going to use. I don't know what players he's going to go get. But position-wise, I think they're looking at catcher, right-handed bat, and pitcher. And I think those moves are all going to be made.
Yeah, I agree. I'd be shocked if they didn't make 3 moves. He seemingly makes tons of moves at deadlines. I don't know about what he said. How he was like, hey, we've been in contention the last 5 postseason runs. I mean, I don't know about 2023. You were 15 under in September.
They love to PR spin a lot of it. They PR spin a lot of those things.
And 2021, they weren't either, but maybe at the deadline. Dylan, thank you for the super chat. Guys, if you're here, subscribe. And if you're here, thank you for the supers. Click the $ below the chat box. He says, with Xander bad with runners in scoring position and Merrill struggling, what do you think about Xander leading off? And Merrill moving down in the lineup for now. They've already had all these lineups over the last 10 or 15 days. And where Xander's hitting right now is working. And Merrill is struggling. That's true. And that needs to be fixed, obviously. But I don't know if that has to do with the lineup or if it has to do with Jackson Merrill. But no, I think where Xander's hitting is fine, which has been behind Gavin Sheets. He's been productive, and I think they'll leave him there.
I actually don't have a problem with the lineup anymore. I actually really like where Luis Ariz is now hitting. I mean, the guy's on fire of late. He doesn't strike out, puts the ball in play, and when he gets hot, he gets hot. And especially with how Manny Machado has played this year, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for Luis Ariz to really do some damage here. The problem with that is he's never going to be the guy that, hits for power. He's never going to be the guy that's going to have 50 doubles in a season, even though he could have 50 doubles in a season, but he's not going to, over his course of his career, he's not going to be that guy. So when he keeps the line moving, you're now relying on Gavin Sheets and Xander Bogaerts to come through. And Xander Bogaerts this year with runners in scoring position has been awful. And, Gavin Sheets, for his good season that he's had, I'm not going to put all this pressure on Gavin Sheets to become this borderline all-star player. You've gotten what you've gotten out of Gavin Sheets this year when nobody expected that. Nobody expected that this guy was especially going to be like a platoon guy against right-handed pitching this year, and he turned into an everyday player. And that's a credit to Gavin Sheets, but I don't have a problem with the lineup. I don't. I just think that Tatis and Merrill have to get it going. If those guys get it going, then you could be looking at a team closer to the start of the season than they are the last 2 months.
Mm-hmm. I mean, to your point, Bogarts with runners in scoring position this year is hitting 171. With the bases empty, he's hitting 279. So he's hit 171
Hey, but
with runners
John,
in
it's
scoring
all
position.
bad luck. It's all bad luck. He hits the ball hard. Come on.
Yeah, it's not. But here's the thing. What's factual are his numbers, and his numbers aren't good, including his risk numbers. But what's also factual is he's been better. Like, I think we all agree, hasn't been better. I mean,
He's been better,
maybe
yeah.
it's not up to the standards, but I mean, he's hit 382 in his last 15 games. Just looking at MLB.com, he's hit 276 in his last 30. He's been fine, is my point. He's been better than fine. He's been on base a ton here recently. He does have to hit with runners scoring position, no question, no question. But he's definitely been better recently.
Xander will never live up to the contract. Like he'll never live up to that. But if you're telling me right now Xander can be a 280 hitter for you with a 750 OPS and drive in 80 and hit between 10 and 15 home runs, I mean, you can live with that, and that's actually really good considering what we've seen from Xander Bogaerts. But he'll never be a $26 million player. I don't like save it with all the stupid analytics that you want to throw out there for Xander. He's just never going to live up to that contract. And maybe he'll have a couple of outliers here, but overall, he's been better of late. But with runners in scoring position, he has been really bad. I mean, last night, dude. I mean, I will say,
every time.
I will say that the Rangers left fielder Langford, I forget his first name, made some incredible catches last night. Wyatt Langford made some incredible catches.
Yeah, the first two balls Bogarts hit, he smoked, and that guy made identical sliding catches.
Yeah. So I mean, look, there are some things where like, I'm snake bit, but those are 2 at bats in how many with runners in scoring position this year? Like he's got to be better, and especially when he's hitting in the heart of the lineup. You got to be driving in runs. You got to average more than like 58 runs, RBIs a season for this team, dude. If you're going to be hitting 5th in the lineup,
I mean, you got to average more than 9 home runs, which is what he's on pace to hit this year. So 100%. 2 things can be true. He's not living up to this contract, and he has been better over his last 15 games. And the third thing, he's got to be even better. He's got to come through in the clutch for this team. It can all be made up for if he does something special in postseason or postseasons to come. But how can we really forecast that based on what we're seeing in the regular season? It's impossible to really forecast that based on what we're seeing. Manny turns 33, Jim. He was 2 hits shy of 2,000 coming in. He was 0 for tonight. Listen, he's getting to 2,000 hits on his homestand. He's had a nice first half. He's cooled off a little bit. I think it's fair. He's hitting 288 overall, but the power numbers are still there. He's got the 14 or 15 home runs, whatever the number is. He's hit 14 home runs, 52 RBIs, big number. But two hits shy of 2,000. He'll get that presumably against Arizona. He turns 33. His productivity's still been ridiculous. I mean, if he's the same player, age 33, age 34, I mean, that's pretty impressive, truthfully, because I don't know what it's going to look like after that. But if you get this same productivity for the next couple of years, I feel like that's realistic with Manny Machado and his. I mean, it might be more than a couple of years, truthfully, with his swing. It looks like it's something that's going to hold up.
You hope it does. You hope that you get this type of production from him until his age like 36 season. Because if you don't,
because I'm not expecting it for age 39 season, obviously.
Right. So, look, he's had a very solid year. I'm not going to go out and say he's had like an MVP season, but he's had a very, very solid year. And he leads the team in like all offensive categories essentially. And it's crazy because, with a team that has, Fernando Tatis Jr. and Jackson Merrill, right, and Luis Ariz, like Manny's leading the team in everything right now. So he's had a very solid season, just a very, just workman-like type of year from Manny, so to say. Like he just puts up the numbers. He's not like incredibly flashy offensively, but he just posts offensively all the time. And just I can't even imagine where this team would be without him this year. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, completely. You know who's gone under the radar a lot, even when we do these shows, and we spend very little time talking about him. We touched on it briefly earlier. Of all the players we talk about, Jake Cronenworth is like 10th offensively. Like, we never talk about Jake Cronenworth. We'll talk about the catchers way more than we talk about Jake Cronenworth, way
Right.
more
Right.
on average. I'll tell you, man, Cronenworth offensively has been solid. Defensively has made some huge plays for this team. And offensively, I mean, first of all, walk-off Friday, homers Saturday. Like, this guy's been impactful. Again, is he going to be an 850 OPS guy? No. But he's a very sound defensive player that's putting together, I think, an under-the-radar offensive year. I know the batting average sucks. I get it. But the OPS is solid enough. So he's had enough power in there that, like, he's been a sneaky solid player at the bottom of their lineup.
100%. I think we mentioned Jake recently. We didn't like dive too deep into it, but we mentioned Jake because his OPS is really good. As far as for him, right? His OPS is good. You take that every day. Like, if he's going to hit 240 with 15 to 20 home runs and 60 to 75 RBIs and have a OPS 764, play
Right.
solid defense. Talk about guys living up to their contracts with this team. I think the money that he's getting paid is exactly where he's the money is slotted exactly where it needs to be with Jake. Just he's not having some incredible season, but he's also not just like a giant anchor in the lineup. He's just very solid. He's giving you exactly what you ask from him. And I agree with you. I think he's just had a solid year.
Think about the ball in the top of the first inning that I thought off the bat, I'm like, base hit, right? It's well struck. And he makes a diving catch, right, to save it. But think about this. He saves 2 runs, but also the inning prolongs. And there's only 2 outs in the inning. Who knows if David Morgan even gets out of the first inning. Now, maybe Kyle Hart still would have been Kyle Hart. But the Rangers could have scored 3, 4, 5, 6 runs in the first inning, if not for Jake Cronenworth's play. So, like, when your offense is scuffling like theirs is, and you score 4 runs in a game, and Jake Cronenworth saves you 2 runs on defense with 1 diving catch, that's a massive moment. Like, that was such a massive moment in the game. Maybe they win regardless. Maybe. We'll never know. Or maybe they lose if he doesn't make that play. But I don't know. It's just something about Jake. And I lose sight of him. Like, he's never in my train of thought, truthfully, with the big 4 and everything else that goes on with this team. But yeah, to your point, he's been solid. And you're right. Whatever he's making this year, 10, 11, 12, whatever that number is, I think it's reasonable for the production he's given this team offensively and defensively.
He doesn't have much power. Like, his power numbers aren't like eye popping, only 9 doubles, 8 home runs. But the thing that I look at with Jake is best on base percentage he's had since 2020, best slugging percentage he's had since 2020, and best OPS he's had since 2021. All of them are the best since 2021, where he kind of broke out, made the All-Star team, and you're like, holy shit. And you got that contract, and you're like, damn, dude, is this guy going to be, like an All-Star every year at second base for the National League? Because there's not many like National League second basemen that are, like the competition is not crazy there. And it was a steady decline for him since 2021. And finally this year, his on base is 354. Like, that's really good. His OPS is 764. That's really good. Especially last year when his OPS was 714. So if he can have an on base in 350s and an OPS in the 760s, take that.
Good year.
Good year.
How about Yu Darvish coming back tomorrow, by the way? Yu Darvish will pitch tomorrow in the big leagues, and he's scheduled to throw somewhere between 70 and 75 pitches per Mike Shildt. So Yu Darvish, just like that, could be in line, Jim, to make 2 starts before the All-Star break. He'll pitch Monday, and then I guess he'd be in line to pitch either Saturday or Sunday against the Phillies.
You know what? The first thing I thought of was, why didn't you just pitch him today?
Right.
If you're going to go bullpen game today, why not just have pitched him today instead of tomorrow? But then again, if you pitched him today and he didn't do well, then you're going back-to-back bullpen days. But you still could go back-to-back bullpen days. I just think it worked out for them, right? Like, because of what happened tonight, how Kyle Hart is going to be the unsung hero here in tonight's game. Because of what he did tonight, set up everything for tomorrow going into the game. You know, they're not in crisis mode as far as their pitching situation goes. So going into the thought process of him starting tomorrow instead of today, I thought it was a little weird, but Kyle Hart saved them, and because of that, it's now fine.
Completely agree. And if he goes 70, 75 pitches and he goes, I don't know, 4+ innings, they should be fine. Going an inning each with their high leverage guys tonight. I think if he goes 4+ innings, I mean, I'm excited to see him. We haven't seen him since game 5 of the LDS. So hopefully he looks like Yu Darvish. Arizona is really struggling, by the way. Maybe the Padres capitalize on that. They've lost 4 or 5 and at least 7 of 10. They're under 500. That's the thing with the Padres. The good teams have still been problematic. The teams that have been under 500, the Padres have been very good against. And Arizona's a team that's kind of fallen off here. They've dealt with injuries as well. We'll see if the Padres can, you take 3 out of 4 here. Getting ahead of myself, maybe. You've set yourself up if you could take 3 out of 4 from a team that's lost 7 of 10 and 4 or 5.
And maybe the reason why they waited to announce their plans for this afternoon or tonight's game from Saturday is they're probably waiting to see what happens Saturday night. Like if Saturday night was a game where you used all your high leverage relief guys, maybe they don't have a bullpen day today. Maybe they do pitch Yu Darvish today, right? But because Saturday night they didn't use Morihone or Adam or Suarez, they used Yuki Matsui and they used Brian Hoeing, right? Like, so maybe that was the reason why, because I know that it was asked like who's starting Sunday and they didn't make an announcement until after the game. So my guess is they were waiting to see how Saturday night's game played out. If it played out a different way where they had used all their high leverage guys, then my guess is Darvish might have been slated to start today. But because they didn't, they gave him an extra day, and you can go full bullpen day today, knowing that you have all your high leverage relief guys ready to go. And it worked out kind of perfectly for them.
Yeah, completely. And remember they went to Arizona during that difficult stretch. They lost the series there. Hopefully they can avenge that. Again, this is that 10-game stretch that we've talked about. Jim's talking about 6-4. You start 2-1. Put you in line to go 6-4. What do you have to do? I mean, you got to go 4-3 the next 7 games. I mean, that seems reasonable. 4-3 against the Diamondbacks and the Phillies at home. Again, maybe not the easiest with the Phillies in there, but 2-2, 2-1, or 3-1, 1-2, and you've made it to 4-3. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that's a goal. Maybe you can do better, and if you do better, amazing. But if you go 4-3 over the next 7 games, you put yourself in a fine spot.
Do some quick math for me. What's 48 minus 16?
32.
32. And then 41 minus 30 is
11.
They're 32-11 against teams. I know it says on the broadcast. They're 32-11 against teams below 500 this year. They're 16-30 against teams above 500 this year.
That's crazy.
They are beating up on bad teams. That's a good thing. The problem is if you made it to the postseason, you're not facing bad teams.
Right,
so that's kind of got to turn around as far as their record against good teams this year. Because right now, I'm going to take out the Colorado Rockies and I'm taking out the Washington Nationals. They have the worst record against teams above 500 in the National League. Like, take out the Rockies, take out the Rockies, take out the Nationals. Okay. Take those 2 teams out because they're 2 of the worst teams in baseball. Besides those 2 teams, the Padres have the worst record against teams above 500 in the National League.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But again, it's like if you can get there, then we'll have that conversation. If you get there in the strength of beating bad teams, that's a good thing. Like if they play that winning percentage with 32-11, you're winning 75% of the time against teams under 500. That's absurd.
Right. So
So
hopefully you can
hopefully
take care. Take care of business against the D-backs this week.
Yeah, based on that, I guess we should be expecting. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, if they can take 3 out of 4, or again, 4 out of the next 7 games against the D-backs and the Phillies, they'll be in decent shape. All right, guys, Underdog Fantasy, we do want to remind you about our longtime partner here on the wrap-up show, Underdog. Use promo code PADSWRAP, that's PADSWRAP, and get a 50% deposit match up to $1,000 and a free gimme pick. You can play across all sports. That would include like Wimbledon going on. That would include obviously Major League Baseball with the Padres taking on the Diamondbacks tomorrow at 6:40. You could take Darvish to have higher than 3.5 strikeouts, for example, tomorrow. You could take Tatis after getting named to the All-Star team to homer. You could take Corbin Carroll to homer. If those things all happen, $10 pays with $330. Okay. 10 pays $330. You can flex it and you can still win big, even if you don't get them all right. So use the promo code PADSWRAP. You'll get a free gimme pick. What does that look like? Higher than half total plate appearance, for example, for Fernando Tatis Jr. It'll give you something like that. So get the free gimme pick. You get the 50% deposit match up to $1,000. Just use that promo code. Click the link in the description down below. Use promo code PADSWRAP.
Yeah, scan the QR code above my head. Download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use our promo code PODSWRAP and start playing right now.
Let's see here from JDMLSR2000. Thank you, man, for the super chat. Appreciate you. Says the decision in 2025 to go with a 2-for-1 catching combo versus Kyle Higashioka. I mean, it was even a platoon. Most catching situations in baseball, guys split time, but he's saying it's aging horribly. But then you look at what Kyle Higashioka has done this year. Yes, I know what he did Saturday. But you look at what he's done this year, and who knows what he would do in a Padres uniform. Maybe it would look better, or maybe it wouldn't. But yeah, the Padres catching situation has been awful. But Kyle Higashioka, outside of Saturday, has not obviously had a good year himself.
No, he's had a really bad season, but they didn't want to pay him, and they are essentially getting almost the same production from 2 catchers for a lot cheaper. Now, again, it's not the same. Higgy's had a better season than these guys, but I mean, Higgy's only hitting 228 with 609 OPS, 2 home runs, and 21 RBIs, and 5 of those came on Saturday night.
Crazy.
Along with a home run. So, before the game on Saturday, he had 1 home run and 16 RBIs, and his OPS was in the 500s.
1 home run for the year in July.
18 last year. Yeah.
It's insane.
I don't think it would have been a huge upgrade. I really don't. And I think the decision to go away from Higashioka, in hindsight, even at the time, you kind of wish that they got Higgy, but also knowing we literally just got his best season of his career. We got a career year from Higgy. He went and he cashed out, and it's probably best that we didn't buy at a level where we don't know if we'll ever get to again. Like the Rangers bought and got Higgy to try to get the production that he provided last year. Like that's what he's being paid to do, is to hit and produce like he did last season. And he's nowhere close to that. So the Padres kind of made the right decision not going after Higgy in the first place.
Buy low, sell high, a little bit the Profar story, truthfully.
Yeah.
Coming off the last season as well. You never knew that was going to happen. We didn't know Higashioka would struggle like this, but I mean, listen, if you're getting the same production out of Higgy, or if you got the same situation with Profar, it looks like signing Nick Pivetta and using that money there made sense, obviously, for the Padres. We'll see what they do over the next couple of weeks with the deadline coming up. All right, join us tomorrow, John and Jim. We will be breaking this down, getting you ready for the Diamondbacks from 2 to 6. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. And then join us tomorrow night. We'll have a wrap-up show for you following game 1 of that series. Before we get out of here, Rocket Skates, thank you. Says Higgy was Buns first half last year as well.
True. I mean, he had a point of the season where he was like leading baseball in slugging percentage. Remember that?
June.
It was like Aaron Judge and Kyle Higashioka.
Wasn't it June? His June was incredible, is the way I remember it.
Yeah, June or July. It was one of the. Yeah, you're probably right. I think it was June. Incredible.
Yeah, I think he had like 9 home runs 1 month, or I don't know. It was something ridiculous.
Yeah,
but yeah, he was unbelievable. There was a stretch where he was really going. He was winning them games a year ago
for sure.
And it's surprising to see him play like this in Texas. But is it? It is. Things change. I mean, like you said, it was like a career year. Are you going to replicate that? Jurickson Profar career year. Are you going to replicate that? Easier said than done. So, listen, they're going to upgrade catcher. I'd be surprised if they didn't. We'll see how much upgrading they can do. I saw some tweet, by the way, the catching duos that we talked about, they were 28th in offensive production. I think F4, Fangraph War, they were 28th in F4 out of their catching duo, 28th or 29th. So, I mean,
there's 2 teams that are worse than them?
I'm pretty sure. 1 or 2.
Who?
I don't know. I saw it somewhere.
That's
can tell you.
Crazy stat.
Yeah. Do you really care?
Not really. I watch this team every single day. I know that they're awful. You don't have to tell me that. The catching position.
Here it is. They have a negative 0.4 WAR. The teams that are lower, Baltimore, and that's with Adley Rushman and Jacob Stallings, which is insane.
Man, Baltimore's had an awful season. Oh my goodness.
And Gary Sanchez has been out. And then Washington, Keibert Ruiz, Riley Adams. Remember Ruiz was the centerpiece of that massive Dodgers deal?
Yeah, for Scherzer.
And by the way, how about freaking Rizzo being fired today?
Did AJ Preller pour one out? Like, I won.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That whole worst trade in baseball history, but didn't survive to see the other side of it. Mike Rizzo. All right, let's do this again tomorrow on John and Jim. Then tomorrow night on the wrap-up show. Support our partners, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance, our friends over at SeatGeek, Humboldt Casino, also Underdog Fantasy. And again, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, follow us on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. on John and Jim tomorrow night on the wrap-up show. For Jim, I'm John. Peace.